Skin the Hardaway 17. Back with another EP. My bad, y'all. My bad. Um, and today I'm here with a fight breakdown and prediction between Terrel Gausha and Tszyu. Now, this is one of the better fights this weekend. Off the top of my head, I would say this is the best fight this weekend. Shout out to my guy Terry Cunning, my guy Ben Hamilton. Because y'all starting through this, y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all click that link. That's my last fight breakdown and prediction I did this morning. Kiko Martinez versus Josh Warrington. I also fight this weekend. Terrel Gausha versus Tszyu. I'm gonna start with Tszyu because y'all might know Tszyu, y'all might have heard Tszyu, y'all might have heard the Tszyu name before. The Tszyu name may sound familiar, and that's because it is a familiar name. That's Costa Tszyu's son, Tszyu. Tszyu fights at 154. Tszyu is an up and coming prospect. Good power, intelligent boxer. You know what I mean? Tough guy. A decent hand speed. His biggest asset right now, will be his power. But he's not one of those guys who just comes forward, swinging wild, walk you down, and try to get you out of with his power. He actually does, have some sense about it, where and how to use his power, which spots to use his power in. That's what I mean by where and how to use his power. He hasn't been, what's good, DP? Now, Tszyu, he hasn't been in the ring with nobody, that you would call a world beater or elite yet. He's 20-0 with 15 knockouts. That's a good ratio. He has good power, but again, he hasn't been in there with, anybody we would call a world beater or elite fighter yet. He has wins over, these not great wins, you know what I mean? But he's a prospect, up and coming. He has wins over Dennis Hogan. Stoppage win over Dennis Hogan in the 5th round, I think. And he also has a win over Jeff Horn, which I think he stopped him in the 11th round. You know what I mean? Yes, that Jeff Horn. He stopped Jeff Horn in the 11th round, if I'm not mistaken. But he looked good doing it. Tszyu is 5'8" with a 72-inch reach. Again, 20 wins, 15 KOs. Terrel Gausha, a guy you might not know, but you should know. Terrel Gausha is a former Olympian. You know what I mean? Terrel Gausha is 22-2-1. His 2 losses come from Iris Landed Lara. And his first loss came from Israel Landed Lara. And his second loss came from Erickson Lubin. In that fight with Lara, he just looked, outmatched a little bit. Lara just looked like too much for him. The experience of Lara kind of overwhelmed him. I believe he wasn't. He just wasn't ready at that time. I think he had that fight around when he had like maybe 17 or 18 fights or something like that. So I think the experience of Lara just overwhelmed him. Nothing to be ashamed of taking a loss to Lara. That's not a bad loss. He also has a loss against Erickson Lubin in the fight where he was in this fight, even buzzed Lubin at a point in time, but I think he started too late, trying to fight Lubin back. He wasn't as aggressive as he should have been in the early rounds. I think he was too worried or so worried about Erickson Lubin's power that his game never really, got going the way that it should have. And that allowed Lubin to rack up rounds. He almost, he rocked Lubin late in the round. I guess you could say I almost stopped him, but Lubin regathered himself, and he ended up rocking him later in the fight as well. I think he rocked Lubin in the 10th round, and then Lubin came back in the 11th round, and he rocked him, you know what I mean? And Lubin won on the cards. Interesting fight. if you don't watch like the first 5 or 6 rounds. You know what I mean? Took them a while to get warmed up. You know, Erickson Lubin dominated pretty much those rounds with his boxing ability alone against Terrell Gausha. I feel like if Gausha had, more output, maybe he could have came out with a different result in that fight. But those are Terrell Gausha 2 losses. Terrell Gausha has faced better competition than Tszyu. I thought that was interesting. Terrell Gausha has wins over Jamonte Clark. He got a split draw with Austin Trout. And he had wins over Joey Hernandez. For a second, though, Jamonte Clark, Terrell Gausha, in his last fight, he knocked out a guy called Jamonte Clark. For reference, Jamonte Clark has a draw with Sebastian Fundora. You know what I mean? Sebastian Fundora went 12 rounds with Jamonte Clark. A lot of people feel like Jamonte Clark may have won that fight. When you're in Sebastian Fundora's backyard, when Fundora is the reason that they're headlining the main card. MP, what the fuck? What's good, King? What's good, MP? Glad you can make it. When Fundora is the one headlining the card, you're in his backyard on his card, and you get a draw. I challenge y'all to go watch that Jamonte Clark fight versus Sebastian Fundora. Great fight. So Terrell Gausha in his last fight has a knockout win over Jamonte Clark. I think that's impressive. Now, I would say that, for comparison, I'm getting to my breakdown. I'm doing my breakdown right now, For comparison, Jamonte Clark is a better boxer than Tszyu. He's a better pure boxer than Tszyu. He boxes a different way than Tszyu, but he's a better boxer than Tszyu. Although I do think Tszyu has some boxing skills, you know what I mean? Jamonte Clark boxes a different way. I think he's a better boxer. In that fight with Terrell Gausha, he was able to outbox, Jamonte Clark, who has a much larger reach on them. Gausha is 5'10" with a 78-inch reach. I think Jamonte Clark is 6'5" or something like that with a 78-inch reach. So you got 73-inch arm reach versus 78 with Jamonte Clark and Terrell Gausha. And again, Jamonte Clark got that draw with Sebastian Fundora. He's the guy with the draw with Sebastian Fundora. So keep that in mind. Terrell Gausha was able to stop Jamonte Clark, I think, in the 6th round, if I'm not mistaken. That was a good fight. So he showed me something in that one. Also, he's been in there with Lara, Austin Trout as well. He has a big experience edge over Tszyu in this fight, y'all. And I'm saying this for a reason, He has a big experience edge, He's been there with the different kind of fighters. He's had to fight this way. He's had to fight that way. And so with Tszyu, his best wins are, Dennis Hogan and Jeff Horn. Those are pretty much the top, the high level guy, the highest level of guys he's been in there with. Terrell Gausha has been there with Erickson Lubin, Sebastian Fundora, Jamonte Clark, Austin Trout, Israel Andy Lara, Joey Hernandez, just to name a few. Didn't win out those fights, but he does has that experience factor going into these fights, you know what I mean? So I think this interesting in this fight. This is a step-up fight for Tszyu. This would be the biggest fight in his young boxing career. Tszyu can fight, man. I'm not even going to hold that guy. Not going to hold him. Tszyu can fight. Tszyu can fight his ass out. My biggest thing in this fight will be how does Terrell Gausha handle the power of Tszyu. Terrell Gausha is a guy who has skills. He can box on the outside. He's a former Olympian. He can box on the outside. He can box on the inside. My question would be, how does he hold up to Tszyu's power? That would be the biggest question. If he's able to, maybe take a couple of Tszyu punches, not let Tszyu catch him with as many power shots, you know what I mean? Maybe Tszyu won't be able to land on him and put him out of there. But I think if Tszyu is able to land on Terrell Gausha, if Terrell Gausha, takes his mind out the fight, takes his foot off the gas even for a second, Tszyu is going to hit him, and Tszyu is going to hit him hard. And that's when my question comes in. Does Terrell Gausha, have enough to be able to take a couple of those Tszyu punches? I believe if he could take a couple of those Tszyu punches, I believe at this point, now he's only had, 25 fights, and Tszyu had 20 fights, so that's 5 more fights. But when you look at the competition that Terrell Gausha has faced, he's the more experienced fighter going into this fight. I think if he's able to, to not to avoid the knockout in this fight. If he's able to take the power, Tim Tszyu's power, which I can't gauge right. I can't gauge it because I never seen him in the ring with Tim Tszyu. You know what I mean? I think Gausha will be able to pull this one out, on the cards and be able to outbox Tim Tszyu. And Terrel Gausha has respectable power as well. He's not an overly power puncher, 22 wins, 11 knockouts. That's literally half. You know what I mean? He's not an overly power puncher, but he does have respectable power. He's coming off a stoppage of Jamonte Clark, who went 12 rounds with Fundora. You know what I mean? So he has respectable power. I don't think Tim Tszyu is going to just be able to walk through Terrel Gausha. Now, that's if Terrel Gausha could crack, the defense of Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is a guy who likes to walk you down as well. He has, he's educated with. He don't just go in there and straight back and forth. Tim Tszyu, Tim Tszyu can use his angles and get out the way when need be, as he showed against, Jeff Horn. Because Jeff Horn fight like a bull. He just kind of put his head down, run in there and go. You know what I mean? So Tim Tszyu, does have the ability to use his angles. If Terrel Gausha could, find ways to land on Tim Tszyu successfully while avoiding Tim Tszyu's knockout shot, I'm giving Terrel Gausha a good chance to win this fight. Go watch Terrel Gausha versus Erickson Lubin. Watch him versus Jamonte Clark. Watch him versus Austin Trout. You know what I mean? This guy's, he's a tough cook. You know what I mean? He's never been stopped. Neither has Tim Tszyu. But Terrel Gausha has never been stopped, and he's been in there with top guys in the division, elite guys in and around his era. You know what I mean? Lara, Trout, you know what I mean? Guys like that. Erickson Lubin type deal. Experienced fighters. So I think it's going to get interesting. I think that's going to play a part. For Tim Tszyu, if he's again, like I said, Tim Tszyu is a good boxer. He's not one of those guys. He's not a flat-footed guy. He does use angles. He is an educated boxer, and he has massive power. You know what I mean? Right now, just my opinion. I believe we're talking power and seeing it displayed in the ring. Tim Tszyu might be, one of the top 5 power punchers in the game right now. When that dude swing, he don't even got to wind up a lot. You can hear the punches through the TV. Like that guy walking, that guy had serious power. I'm thinking that Terrel Gausha is going to look good. I'm getting to my prediction stage of the video now. Y'all hit that like button for me. I think Terrel Gausha is going to do good in this fight. You know what I mean? For about 6 or 7 rounds. You know what I mean? I think it's going to take. I think it's going to take Tim Tszyu a little time to figure out Terrel Gausha in this fight. So I think Terrel Gausha will look good. Don't think Tim Tszyu will be able to land on him early. But when Tim Tszyu finally does land on Terrel Gausha, because I never seen them fight before, in my mind, I'm not thinking that Terrel Gausha is going to be able to take too many of those punches from Tim Tszyu. So I think Tim Tszyu, once Terrel Gausha slows down a little bit, once he starts slowing down a little bit around about the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, around that round, I think around the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, Tim Tszyu is going to be able to catch up to Terrel Gausha a little more than he was early in the fight. And I think Tim Tszyu power just going to be a little too much for Terrel Gausha. Don't think he going to knock out Terrel Gausha cold. Think he might get a stoppage like in the 9th round. 9th or 10th round. What's good? OTB Boston class. Glad you can make it. I think he might get a stoppage on Terrel Gausha, late in the fight, like 9th or 10th round. I think his power, and I think he got better boxing skills than giving credit for. I think his power gonna be just a little too much for Gausha. I think Gausha gonna look good about the first 6 or 7 rounds. I think Tim Tszyu gonna start to catch up to Terrel Gausha, as the fight goes on. And I think Gausha's never been stopped before. And there is a chance that if the power of Tim Tszyu starts to fade late in those rounds, there is a chance that Terrel Gausha could be able to muster through and outbox Tim Tszyu to a victory. But I think the power is going to be able to catch up to Terrel Gausha. I knew who Terrel Gausha was first deep down. I hope I'm wrong. But I got Tim Tszyu stopping Terrel Gausha by TKO in the 9th round of this fight, 9th, 10th round of this fight. You know what I mean? If you're a betting guy, to be safe, I would take Tim Tszyu. You know what I mean? But, Terrel Gausha is a game. And if I was good, Trap, we can talk about it for a little second. He said Tszyu isn't anything special though. No, I don't think he, that man got some power, man. He got a little box. Cause you right. My guy Trap Media said bet the upset. My guy Trap Media said bet the upset. He said Gausha almost stopped Lubin. True. I mentioned that. One of the best amateurs out of Cleveland. That's true. He said the top 5 beast Tim. Okay. I'm glad y'all heard names of the top 5 beast Tim. Said Gausha is a better boxer too. Yep. I said that. I said that too as well. It's a chance Gausha, could fight through the end and get him. But I think that Tszyu power, probably go kill him. Just to be safe, if you're a betting man, I say bet on Tszyu. If you want to hedge it with Gausha for that underdog money, you could do that. You know what I mean? You could do that. My guy Trap said, don't bet the house, just some safe light money. It's a live underdog. Yeah. Like, if you want to hedge it, you can hedge Terrel Gausha, for the points. I bet you Terrel Gausha for the points might be good. I don't know if y'all was here. When I was saying they got about the Gausha got only 5 more fights, but Gausha is a super experienced, he's a super experienced fighter in this fight. Gausha been in there with Lara. Gausha been in there with Lubin. Gausha been in there with Jamonte Clark. Gausha been in there with Austin Trout and Joey Hernandez. You know what I mean? He has the big experience edge. This is how I see the fight going. This is how I see the choreography for the fight. One thing, Tszyu going to be coming forward most of the night. You know what I mean? Gausha go box a little bit, fight, inside fight a little bit. But I think as the round goes on, Tszyu is going to be able to catch him. Again, there is a chance that, Gausha could, if Tszyu starts to fade, Gausha could outbox him. But, even then, who knows, how the scorecard goes. I think if a knockout happens, it's going to be, Tszyu, knocking out Terrel Gausha. But Terrel Gausha is a hell of a fighter type deal. He said nobody would be shocked if Gausha won. Now, it wouldn't be an extreme shock. I mean, I think the public and the media would be shocked, Trap. I don't think, like, guys like me and you, like boxing heads, guys who watch this shit every single day, I don't think they would be extremely surprised. But I think the community, the boxing community, will be kind of surprised, Is that Clark from Cincinnati, Trap? DeMonte Clark. He said tighten up OTB so he won't get shot. Okay, Bill. What? Okay, Bill, I got you, DP. But yeah, we got Terrel Gausha. So I gave y'all my breakdown and my prediction. I got Tszyu, to stop Terrel Gausha in the 9th round. Again, Terrel Gausha has the fight experience. You know what I mean? He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. Former Olympian. He's the more experienced guy. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. If you want to be safe, I say take, Tszyu with the knockout in the 10th. But you could hedge Terrel Gausha, for the underdog money. He is a live underdog in this fight. You feel me? He is an underdog in this fight. I got you, OTB. He is an underdog in this fight. I don't know if y'all seen, but I got Wait till y'all come in, y'all hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me, y'all roll on and hit that like button for me. This is my fight breakdown prediction video. I'm about to end this joint. Y'all meet me on the Earl Spence. We go talk guy, we go talk guy shit over there. Y'all gonna meet me on the Earl Spence joint. My next son, I'm about to talk about Earl Spence and what he said and related to Terrence Crawford in the undisputed fight that we all wanted so much. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Tszyu, 10th round knockout. Be safe, bet on Tszyu. Appreciate y'all coming through this joint. DP Rocker, OTB Boxing. Meet me on the next page so I can ring you up. Trap Media USA. Meet me over there. My guy, Mr. Holmes. Appreciate you sliding through this jump, Mr. Holmes. MP, what the fuck? Terry Cannon, Ben Helm. Appreciate my good folks. Skin the Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future, but this the present. This how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.